Amigos, estamos con Barbara Menin, ya vamos a comenzar porque está la música ahora mismo en el sol, en la radio. Bárbara ya está aquí lista y vamos a conversar con ella sobre esa bella posibilidad de ser enfermeras, porque el Día de la Enfermera fue ayer. Ya van a ver ella qué nos cuenta. ¿Verdad, Guachi?
Exacto. Qué buena música.
Amigas, les prometí un programa ecléctico y aquí vamos. Estoy con Barbara Menin, ella es enfermera y es que quiero decirles que ayer fue el Día de la Enfermera y en nuestra comunidad ser enfermera es una cosa importante, ha sido una opción de trabajo, una opción de empleo, pero no necesariamente todo el mundo sirve para ser enfermero o enfermera. Ella es una enfermera absolutamente reconocida. Alguna vez me contó la historia de que fue de las primeras enfermeras que se montaron en un helicóptero para salvar personas, de eso que uno ve en las películas aquí en los Estados Unidos. Bueno, ella fue una de las primeras. Además ella sabe español y francés. Creo que no va a hablar español hoy porque se siente mejor en inglés, pero aquí la tenemos. Y Barbara Menin fue voluntaria en un hospital y así fue como decidió volverse enfermera. Y luego ella fue profesionalizándose cada vez más, tomó un curso en Londres sobre neurología y neurocirugía, así que no estamos con cualquier enfermera, estamos con una enfermera muy importante. Barbara, welcome to ParaTiMujer.
Thank you, Emma.
Probably the first question that I have to ask is what qualities are necessary to become a nurse?
There are a lot of qualities. I think the most important one is to feel compassion for our fellow man. But other qualities are also important. Nurses need to be smart. They need to have a lot of common sense. Need to be able to problem solve. And need to like to work hard, because nursing is hard work. I'm sure I've left out other qualities, but so that's what I would say are the top ones.
Probably the most important. Bueno, Bárbara dice que las enfermeras, y lo sabemos, tienen que tener mucha compasión, ser muy inteligentes. La vida de un paciente puede depender fácilmente de la enfermera. Hay que tener mucho sentido común y ser grandes trabajadoras. Barbara, I will say that one of the options for our community, especially the Latino community, as a woman, is being a nurse. But the fact that I want to be a nurse, or the fact that there are job opportunities, it doesn't mean that I should pursue that career. Because you are talking about being compassionate, being smart, and I'm pretty sure all our Latino women are very smart. Everybody are smart in one way, but we have to connect that smartness with the profession that we pick. I remember that I was an interpreter in a hospital, and there were a beautiful girl from Puerto Rico, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to be a nurse." And immediately, 2 seconds after, her mother needed to go to the bathroom, and she needed to help her because the mother was the patient. And I will never forget that the mother asked her for help, and she didn't want to do it because I will say it smelled horrible.
Yes.
Is that possible for a person who wants to be a nurse, to have that kind of comments, to feel like it's like smell horrible?
Well, it is possible. I don't know how old this young woman was. You know, if you're 15, you feel maybe differently than when you're 19 or 20. Smells are part of the job, and body fluids are part of the job. And so it's important that you don't show anything to the patient that you're helping. So you're allowed to have those feelings, those icky feelings, but you just pretend it's just part of the, and it is part of the job. It is possible, I think, but she'd have to sort of get used to it, because it's not going to go away. Those smells don't go away.
And it's going to be every day, more than once a day.
More than likely, depending on where you work, more than likely, it's going to be there just about every day.
Estoy hablando aquí con Bárbara y le estoy contando la experiencia que tuve y a propósito, si yo digo puertorriqueña, eso no debe significar nada. Quizás lo digo es porque nuestras mujeres puertorriqueñas tienen más acceso al trabajo que el resto de latinas, por obvias razones. Pero esta chica muy linda, ella quería ser enfermera y cuando la mamá le pidió por favor la llevara al baño para, ella no le gustó porque se sintió un poco asqueada con el olor, y pues Bárbara nos dice aquí que el olor es parte del trabajo. Bárbara, what are the most beautiful things that you remember as being a nurse?
Oh, that's a great question. I've been a nurse for 45 years, so one of the most beautiful things I saw as a nurse was when I was working in England. We had a young woman who was 39 weeks pregnant, which is when she's just ready to deliver, just about ready to deliver. And she had an intracerebral bleed at 39 weeks, and we were a referral hospital in London. So the hospital where she was taken was outside London. She, the doctors at that hospital called our neurosurgeon and said, then told him the story, and the neurosurgeon said, take the baby by C-section and bring the mother to us. So that's what happened, and the story has a happy ending, just to let you know up front. So her, I'm forgetting her name at the moment, but she came to us, and she was more or less unconscious. The surgeons took out a blood clot, but she still had a little bit of a bleeder in her head that they needed to go in at another time when she was more stable. But that could wait. So she went in and she had this blood clot removed, and she was on a ventilator. The machine was breathing for her. And I was the head nurse, and I kept getting calls from the midwife, the midwives at the hospital where the baby was. We want to bring the baby down. We want the mother and baby have to
together.
Yes, they have to bond. So they brought the baby down with June. Her name was June, the mother, with June's mother, the grandmother, and they walked into this big open ward, and the grandmother, June's mother, took the baby and put it into June's arm. She was still unconscious. She put it into June's arm and said, June, look at your beautiful baby. And if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't believe it. June opened her eyes and looked at her baby.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm going to cry.
Yes, we were all crying.
Wow.
That was a really amazingly powerful moment. And June got better. The baby grew up and healthy, and June got better. And she went home and was able to do housework, and I don't know that she had ever worked outside the home, but she was able to function the same as she did prior to this.
Wow.
She was in the hospital for 3 months.
Y wow, increíble. Pues amigas, miren esta historia tan bella que nos cuenta Bárbara, que uno la tiene gracias a poder ser una enfermera. Las cosas bellas de ser una enfermera es que la mamá está embarazada, le hacen un C-section, porque una cesárea para sacar a su bebé, porque ella tiene un problema interno, sangrado en su cerebro, Y pues cuando se llega el momento, aunque ella está inconsciente, se llega el momento de que sacan el bebé, la enfermera de arriba, de las parteras dicen que el bebé tiene que estar con su mamá, la mamá todavía está inconsciente y bajan el bebé y la abuelita, la mamá de la chica, pone el bebé en los brazos de la mamá que está inconsciente y le dice: June, mira, abre los ojos, aquí está tu bebé, y ella sale de su estado inconsciente, abre los ojos y ve su bebé. Yo creo que esas son cosas de película que una enfermera tiene la oportunidad de ver. That's a beautiful story.
It is, yes.
I'm crying. Barbara, what is the worst part of this work, being a nurse?
I think the worst part. There's really no worst part. There's some of the scholars in nursing have looked at the sacred and the profane parts of nursing, and you know this. I think you could make a case for helping someone in the bathroom be both sacred and profane. I think it's our sacred duty to maintain dignity while we're doing humbling things to people. Patients in hospitals are at their lowest. It's usually not their best time of their life, and we see people at the worst time. I think the worst part of it can be not being respected for what we know, and that's happening less and less. I don't think the actual work is the worst part. Maybe not having enough staff, feeling like you can't do what you need to do to take care of people. Not having enough staff, not having enough equipment. But the actual day-to-day, I think is mostly a sacred duty. Even with people who are unconscious, helping someone to die, and I don't mean assisted suicide, I mean someone who's dying and perhaps has nobody at their bedside. What a nurse can do is sit by the bedside and hold a hand. And I see that as a very sacred duty. And part of a nursing job is to then wash and wrap the body. And that also I see as a sacred job. And often it's somebody that we've developed a relationship with. It's not just someone maybe who came in and unconscious, and we didn't develop any kind of relationship. It's often somebody with whom we've had a relationship. So it's but there's ups and downs. People get better and go home. Most people get better and go home, and that's the joy of nursing.
Me imagino. Fíjense que Bárbara dice cosas bellísimas, y es como el trabajo de una enfermera tiene que ver mucho con lo sagrado, porque usualmente cuando estamos en el hospital estamos no en un muy buen estado, estamos muy enfermos o estamos inconscientes, estamos vulnerables, probablemente tienen que meternos a la ducha y bañarnos, tienen que limpiarnos. Entonces es un trabajo que tiene que ver mucho con el cuerpo y con lo sagrado que es el cuerpo y el oficio de una enfermera. Bárbara dice, pues es un trabajo que requiere mucha humildad. Quizás la parte más difícil, dice ella, es no ser respetadas como enfermeras, aunque eso está cambiando, y quizás otra parte que es difícil es no tener suficiente staff. Y Bárbara nos habla de cuando alguien está muriendo, no de muerte asistida, sino alguien que está muriendo y que está solo en su cama, pues tomarle la mano y acompañar a esa persona en el viaje al más allá. Barbara, do you think, because traditionally it has been a job for women, and you are talking about these beautiful qualities, I'm not saying that men don't have that qualities, but usually attend others, being able to wash other people, dealing with smell, sometimes it's something that we connect with women.
Yeah, and I think it's still connected with women. I don't know what the current percentage is, but it's in the the percentage of women in nursing is I believe, still in the 90s.
Right.
So it's predominantly women. But there are a lot of wonderful male nurses.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have seen them.
Yes.
Barbara, one of the things that probably are easier for our Latino women is that they have 2 languages.
Yes.
So how you see that?
I see that as a real advantage. Being bilingual in itself, I think, is fabulous. But sure, you can act as an interpreter. You can. I think when you speak another language well, and you get the nuances of the language, so much of nursing is nuance and trying to read your patient's emotions. And if you have if you have another language that you understand as well as your first language, it just makes nursing better.
Bárbara, bueno, aquí tengo a Víctor Negrón que nos está acompañando, también se ha unido al Facebook y dice que es un trabajo difícil. Yeah, it's a tough job.
Hay otra pregunta.
It's not easy. And he has a question, but I can't see it right now. Bárbara, you told me before we start the program that there are 4 ways to become a qualified nurse. What are those ways?
Well, there's several different types of nursing. You can become a nurse's aide, and that's a licensed position. You have to take a license for that, but it takes 6 weeks. And then the licensed nurse's aide, or what they call certified nurse's aide, a CNA, works truly at the patient level. They're the ones who are giving the baths, helping people to the bathroom, for the most part.
Okay.
So that's an easy way, a 6-week course. The next way is to become a licensed practical nurse, and that's usually a 1-year full-time program or a 2-year part-time program. And they make these programs so that for people who work during the week, they have weekend programs.
Oh, excellent.
Yes. And then what has gone out of style, which is the type of school that I went to, is a 3-year diploma school that would be attached to the hospital. And that's kind of gone by the wayside now. There may be a couple left, but none that I know of. The next way is a 2-year associate's degree. And that, most community colleges, I know Philadelphia Community College has a wonderful program, and Montgomery County Community, Delaware County Community, and it's an inexpensive way of becoming a professional nurse. It's a little harder to get a job with just a 2-year diploma because there's a push now.
Yeah.
Yes, there's many nurses, but also there's a push to get a bachelor's degree. And that's sort of the 4th way to become a nurse, is to go to college and major in nursing. And there are many programs in the Philadelphia area. They're not inexpensive. And I know that Drexel is not inexpensive, but what makes Drexel different from the others is that it's a co-op, so that you go to school 6 months of the year and then you work as an extern. You get these co-op jobs in hospitals. Usually by the 2nd or 3rd co-op, you have hands-on patient care, and the experience is invaluable. It takes 5 years as opposed to 4.
Barbara, is there any aid as a woman, Latina, with not too much money on el barrio? Can I look for grants?
Yes, you can. I'm not sure what's out there for Latinos, but I know for many minorities there are grants to be had.
Okay. Victor Negron is asking, how do you manage 12-hour shifts with less staff and equipment and maintaining quality without burnout?
Without burnout. 12 hours is a long time to work if you think about it, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And at 7 p.m., report happens. You give report to the next shift, so that the 7p to 7a shift. It's difficult not to burn out when you feel like you never have enough staff. And there's, the equipment I don't think is quite so much the issue these days, but certainly the amount of staff is. You learn to work quickly. You learn to multitask, and unfortunately, nurse burnout is a problem. I think if management can help alleviate some of that, even to come down, people like to hear they've done a good job.
Yeah.
And you know that's
everybody.
It's often all nurses need to hear is that, you know, wow, you really did a good job today under difficult circumstances.
Barbara, how is the market? How is the job market like?
Certainly not what it was like in 1972 when I graduated, which was the question that I was asked in an interview was, did I have a Pennsylvania license? The market I think is good if you have a bachelor's degree. In the Philadelphia area, we have a lot of nurses, and I think it's harder to get a job in the Philadelphia area, certainly in the big medical centers. If you go into the rural areas, there's a shortage. So if someone is willing to move for a position,
it is a good option.
Yes, it is a good option.
What about Canada? Many people say that Canada is has great opportunities for nurses.
It does, and I'm not sure how easy it is to get a job in Canada. If you go to Quebec, you have to speak French.
Yeah.
They give you a French test. I mean, they don't just say, can you speak French? Yeah. It's a five-part test that has an oral component to it. And I don't know right now how easy it is to go to other countries unless you do like traveling nursing or
you have the language
or you have the language,
or the culture, because
yes, or you hold
about culture,
or you hold a passport, like for a European community passport, then you can go around. But you know, you can go in the Peace Corps.
Barbara, what is the advice that you have for women, for men, for people who want to be a nurse, but especially our Latina girls in this country?
I think that my advice would be if someone is thinking about it, to do some volunteer work in a hospital and see if you like it. That's what I did, and I've never regretted my decision because I felt that every single day I went to work, I made a difference in someone's life. Me, Barbara, made a difference in someone's life. And I don't think there are a lot of professions where on a daily basis you can say that. And so that's
beautiful, and that feeds you.
That it does. It makes it all worthwhile. It makes it all worthwhile. So and just, you know, make sure you have all your prerequisites, the sciences, you know, those bad words that people don't like, the chemistry and the biology and biochem.
And it's a very interesting job.
You know what? No day is the same.
Yeah.
Its rhythm might be somewhat the same, but the people that you deal with are going to be different every single day, and there's surprises around the corner all the time. And I was 20 when I became a nurse, and I was surprised at how much information I could keep in my brain and not have to write it down. And I was surprised at the amount of work I could get done in a day, in terms of, and how well I could organize my day as I got better at the job.
That's beautiful. Barbara, thank you very much for celebrating with us the Nurse Day, el día de la Enfermera.
Sí.
And I hope you can join us other time, because it has been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.